Before we begin, don't forget to subscribe for new ComHack episodes every week.
Well, hello, this is Communication Hack. I'm Joshua Weiss.
And I'm Tim Jones.
And this is a video blog where we cover communications one hack at a time, and we hope that you enjoy these. Go back and watch some of the older episodes. We reference them often. You can also check us out online at communicationhack.com. And don't forget to write in the comments things that you want us to cover. Today, we're going to cover some things about communicating in the news.
Yeah.
And knowing how to actually be communicated to. Sometimes when we're consuming news, it's really easy to just kind of let the news come at us. And I know that my personal preference would be, I don't want to think about it. I don't want to think. I want somebody to just tell me these are the things that happened, these are what they mean, and then let me just, believe what they say.
Yeah.
Something tells me that's not really the best way to consume news, though. So what are your thoughts on all this?
Yeah, it's probably not the best way because there, as we all know, there's the news corporations, the news industries out there. We've talked about this in the past. They have an agenda-setting theory in mind. We go back and watch those previous episodes. They're going to spin the story slightly in a favor for their most watched audience. This is kind of a hot topic in the news at the moment with Fox versus MSNBC and the whole presidency and all these things.
Wait, those aren't equal?
Yeah, I know. It's a shocker.
No, clearly, we all know Fox is going to be right-leaning,
Yeah.
MSNBC is left-leaning, and there's very few that you can't remove yourself from news when you're a news pundit. When you're a news journalist or reporter, you come from a particular worldview, you come from a particular frame of mind. You can't just erase that when you're bringing news to an audience.
Yeah, and it's not necessarily a negative thing, the spinning. It's just on our side, what we want. We just want to know what happened.
Yeah.
So reading through the bias is kind of the hack we want to aim at today. And there's some ways we can go about doing this. When you're hearing the story, when you're listening to the story, the key is pulling yourself out of the just consuming the news mindset and looking at what is actually being communicated. So a lot of that looks like the words that are being chosen to use. Was it an extremist or was it just a kid on the sidewalk? Like the words that are used. What is the story being told? What side of the story is not being told? These types of elements that are coming at you, you won't notice unless you pull yourself out of the conversation, look at what's being communicated, and then you can go and actually seek out those other elements. So if I have a story and I'm like, I feel like I'm missing parts of this, and I'll understand where I'm listening from. If I'm watching from MSNBC, I'm going to go over to Fox and find the same story and see what facts they left out or put in versus the facts that they left out and put in, and then try and piece together what actually occurred.
Yeah, I think a responsible way to consume news is to first of all recognize that everybody has a perspective.
Yeah.
So no matter how much you like MSNBC or CNN or Fox or whatever it is that you watch, they are not the end all of news, right?
Yes.
They have a perspective, and whether you like it or not, the responsible way to approach it will be to recognize that they probably have a side that they've taken,
Yeah.
even if they're attempting not to. I think of it in terms of my kids. So I've got 3 kids, and if one of my kids, let's say my oldest, Elijah, so if Eli comes and tells me a story of what just happened, he's reporting the news of what just happened, and it happens to involve my other 2 kids, right? Now, as a dad and somebody who has half a brain, I recognize that Eli's account of the story may be completely different than Isaac's account of the story or Gabriella's account of the story because they've got different perspectives.
Yeah.
So when it comes to my kids reporting news of what's happening at the very local front, I'm not going to take one person's answer and believe that that's it. I'm going to be looking for cues like you said. What wasn't said? So you talked about what just happened. So-and-so hit so-and-so, but you didn't say what happened before that.
Yeah.
Or you didn't say what happened after that. Or you didn't say other things about what was happening during that. I'm also going to look at, like you said, how was it framed when they said it? Was it he bumped in or he pushed Or was it, what are the words, what are the verbs, what are the adjectives?
He straight up took the thing and threw it out of my hand.
Right.
No, I just hit you on accident. Yeah.
And then I'm going to go get the other side of the story.
Yep.
It's important that we look at it like that, and I think we can look at news the same way. And that's going to be a big hack for us, is to recognize there's always a side. I won't say which news organization, but I have close friends who have done tours of some of the news organization's main headquarters. And at one point, my friend was telling me that all of the main news platform, the program hosts, the biggest faces on the network, all of those individuals had a meeting every single day with the owner of the network. And the owner of the network and all of those leaders of those different programs together decided which stories were going to be talked about and highlighted throughout the day. And so as a result, every single one of the news programs throughout the day highlighted those particular stories. And if you go and watch, you'd see that all of them highlighted them in somewhat of the same order. And that's because of an agenda-setting effort where they want to set the agenda. And so all that to say, I think you're absolutely right. It's probably best that we watch news with an open mind and recognize that we're being communicated to with the purpose to drive us, to change us, to shape how we think about what we see with respect to news. And so, well done.
That's what we do.
That's what we do.
That's the news.
That's what we do, and that's the news. So this has been Communication Hack, ComHack. You can follow me at Joshua D. Weiss.
And you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at @TLJonesy_.
And until next time, we'll continue mastering communications one hack at a time.